Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about 6 truths or 6, I think, reasons why you shouldn't wait until January to stop drinking alcohol. As I'm recording this is in November, so a couple of months before Christmas. And I think one of the biggest reasons, number one, is that you've got a window of opportunity with the momentum. Like, momentum is very hard to get. Motivation is very hard to get. So if you've got that momentum, if you've got that motivation in yourself now to do something, then you should do it. This was always the best decision I ever made. And, if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would do it. I mean, I'd do a lot of stuff differently, for sure, but I would definitely take this trip no matter what. If you told me the discomfort was going to be 10 times as much as this, I'd still do it because, I know what's on the other side of it. I know the life that I'm going to lead. So, if you're thinking about it, why wait until January? You don't know if that motivation is still going to be there in January. You've got it now. That's why you're watching this video. That's why you're looking online for to try and understand this a bit more, to try and understand the journey, understand the problems, maybe understand the next steps to take. And while you've got that going, while you've got a little bit of momentum going, now don't forget that momentum is not only after you stop drinking alcohol, it's the things that got you to where you are now, to that decision to stop it. And I think that's important to, once you have that, once you have the motivation that comes along with that, to take advantage of it. Like I said, best decision I ever made in my life. So why are you waiting for it? Do you not think you're worth, pushing yourself now and getting those extra 2 months in? By the time you get to January and you're revisiting that decision whether to stop or not, you're not going to look back and say, oh yeah, I'm really glad that I took those 2 months. You're going to look back and you're going to say to yourself, yeah, I wish I had those 2 months behind me now, where I wish I was here and I had 2 months of not drinking, because now I'm facing into that. Do you get what I mean? So it's kind of a thing that can sap your momentum very quickly. The next one is that when you're putting it off, you're actually pretending that you're doing something. You're pretending that you're being active. Procrastination is avoiding a decision, or it's making a decision, but in our case, it's saying to yourself, well, yeah, I'm going to continue to drink. It's giving me an excuse to continue to drink because I'm going to make the decision to stop in 2 months' time or 3 months' time or whatever it is, And yourself, the likelihood of you, once you start heading towards that, right? For a start, you've got 2 months, 3 months more worth of toxins going into your system, right? And that's never good. Second thing is that you have, as you're moving towards that, then you're starting to inch towards the date that you're supposed to stop. That's going to create anxiety. It's going to create worries in your mind. And especially when, you go through Christmas as well, and you've put all the toxins into your body that you would normally do over Christmas, right? Not only the alcohol, but everything else. I'll talk about that in a minute. You're just putting yourself into a bad situation, and it's kind of what you're doing by putting off the decision is you're putting value on the drinking. You're saying to yourself, well, I value the drinking now, between now and Christmas. I value the drinking at Christmas more than I value my own health, more than I value the life that I can lead. Because if you really valued that life more than the drinking, you would, without hesitation, stop drinking now. You wouldn't be waiting until January came around. The next reason is that when you put it off until January, what you're doing is you're operating on emotion. You're saying to yourself, right, I feel like that's the best time for me. And once you get to January, then you've got the emotions of the new year, you've got the emotions of the new resolutions, and you probably haven't just got one resolution, but you're decided to change a lot of other things as well, right? So you've got all that playing on your mind. Plus you've got the alcohol that you drank over Christmas, which is going to upset your feelings and your emotions. And this should be approached with logic, right? And if you can strip all the emotions back, take all the emotions out of it, or at least reduce some of the emotions, and you do that by not focusing on a certain date and putting yourself under the pressure of, well, this is the date that I've been waiting for, and now is the time that I have to do it. And that's so much more pressure that you can put yourself on, instead of saying to yourself, well, look, this is it now. I'm going to do this now, no question about it, and end of story. And you're operating through logic, like I said. Think about, I'm not going to be putting any more toxins into my body, right, for 2 more months. I'm not going to be getting to a state where I'm drinking so much more toxins over Christmas, and I'm eating a lot more food. And we can all say to ourselves, well, look, I'm gonna reduce the alcohol over Christmas. I'm not going to drink so much. But it's easy to say now, not so easy to do when you get into that situation, right? So it's trying to look at things through the perspective of rational thinking, not rationalizing your thinking and putting it off that way. The next two reasons are to do with all the alcohol that you're going to put into your body between now and January. And specifically, we're going to talk about the amount of alcohol that you put into your body over the holiday season. For me, when I was drinking, I'd start drinking the day before Christmas Eve, maybe the day before that, but it would be an ongoing process then until maybe if I was stopping doing something on the 1st of January, then it would be the 31st. But, a lot of people go through until the 6th of January. So a lot of people here wouldn't make their New Year's resolutions until that time. And think about all the alcohol that's gone into your body, all the hangovers that you've had, all the extra calories, all the extra headaches that you've had, all the negative feelings that you've had because you've been putting. So, it's time after time after time. And then you come to day one of stopping drinking alcohol. And you've got the pain there, you've got the discomfort there because of all the hangovers that you've got. By the time I got to January the 1st, I was sick of drinking. I really didn't want to do it anymore. And but my mindset was I wasn't like I said, this is the best decision that I ever made in my life. So focusing into that, you want to be able to start this journey off with the best head that you can have, with the best thinking that you can have. And I always recommend when people go through the preparation stages of this journey that they don't drink heavily the night before, and that they've cut down over that 2 weeks so that what they're drinking in the last few days is very little. So their head is in the clearest state that they can have. Their mindsets are clear, and you haven't put so much value on the alcohol, like I said. The second reason, and this goes back to what I was saying about your body being wanting to quit, right? The motivation being there because you feel shit. So the pain is there, the discomfort is there physically. That doesn't last, right? And the problem is that when you start out like that, it's easy. It's easy to stop and to say, I'm not having any more of that, because I feel physically ill and I can't really do it anymore, right? And you're still going to have the same discomfort, right? Or similar discomfort than you would have normally. But because it's easier mentally to put your head around it and go, well, yeah, this is something that I really, that I can get my head around, look at the state of myself. But as soon as that starts to clear off, then everything else will, and it's pushing yourself then when you start to really get the head stuff starts to come in, and you're starting to question things, and you're starting to tell yourself stories about, maybe I can just continue now. Maybe, this is not such a good time to do it, or, this is more difficult than I thought. Whatever it is, having that at the beginning, having that motivation at the beginning to start, which is false motivation, and then trying to build up that motivation as you're going along, that's difficult, right? The final one is that you're carrying the same problems into the new year that you are now. If it's broke now, why not fix it now? And the reason is because you still value the alcohol, you still value the idea of getting drunk. These are all value judgments, the same as the value judgment that you place on the new year, that this is the time for you. Part of it's procrastination, part of it's just putting things off, and because you don't want to do things now. It's a tough decision to make. But at the end of the day, like I said, you're never going to regret the drink that you didn't have yesterday. And if that's the case, once you get to January, if you continue drinking now, you're going to regret all that. You're going to say to yourself, why didn't I do it 2 months ago? Right? This is the same as human nature. Once we get there and we say, I should have done this sooner. I guarantee you, it's one of the things that my clients say to me the most when they get a year into the journey, 2 years into the journey. Why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I do this sooner? Because it's the best decision that you will ever make in your life. Not because of the decision to stop drinking, but because of the decision to stop to get rid of the straitjacket of alcohol, the way it constricts your life. And once you stop the alcohol, then your life opens up, the possibilities open up, your potential opens up. And that's what we're looking at here. It's nothing to do with the alcohol. We're putting off the discomfort more than anything else, rather than the actual stopping. It's the discomfort. But it's all perceived. It's all expectations. It's all what you think the discomfort is going to be. You know, you run through these ideas in your head. Oh, you know, I've tried to stop before, I've tried to moderate before, and hasn't worked out great for me, you know. I'm afraid of all the withdrawals. I'm afraid of, what do I do in these situations? Am I going to lose my friends? All these scenarios are running through your head. And so when you get to that stage of making the decision, it's an easy decision to put off, to push down the road and to say to yourself, I'm not going to do it now. But guarantee you stop now. You say to yourself, I do not value alcohol anymore in any way, in any shape, in any form. I'm going to throw the alcohol that I've got down the toilet to prove that. And I'm going to put my best into it now. And I'm going to make the decision to keep the alcohol out of my mouth. And that's it. Right? And I guarantee you get to January and you will be patting yourself on the back that you've got 2 months into it. Right? You won't give a shit about January. You know, there's no value on that anymore. There's no value on the alcohol. There's no value on the January as that time to wait until you start making changes. You start to think, well, why can't I make the changes now? Why do I have to wait? Think about all the things that are in your control now, right? You don't have to do any of this stuff. You can just say to yourself, I'm not going to put any more alcohol into my body, and that's it, period. Hope that helps. I hope it encourages you to at least give it a thought to stopping drinking alcohol now. Remember, don't procrastinate, because the procrastination is only going to lead to regret down the road. You know, once you've got the idea in your head that you want to stop drinking and that this is a good thing for you, that a life without alcohol, however much doubt you have, there is always that hope there. And the more hope you can push in front of yourself, the better it's going to be. So don't procrastinate. Say to yourself, if I get to January and I don't stop now and I stop in January, I'm going to regret not stopping sooner, because I'm going to have to go through this at some stage. So I might as well go through this now when there's no pressure, no anxiety. I'm thinking about this logically. I'm not letting my emotions run wild and push me in all different directions. And that's it. End the story. Take care of yourself. Let me know if you have any questions, if you've got anything that you would like me to follow up on with this, if you've got any questions about this specifically. We can do a long form video. So if there's a lot of questions about this, if there's a lot of comments about this, I'll do a 30-minute video where we go through all the comments. And yeah, if you want any help from me, we're at habitsv2.com. We've got one-on-one coaching over there. We've got our full program, not only to help you through those first few days, but to help you to acclimatize that new self without alcohol, and to really build the habits that create a strong foundation then for never going back, never wanting alcohol in your life again. So that's what we've got over there. Take care of yourself. Onwards and upwards. Bye now. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Oh, look at this. We're going through a tunnel. It's kind of strange, creepy, but there you go. This is the opposite, actually. We go into the tunnel. This is the dark side, where you're kind of worried about things. Soon enough, you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's when you know that the habit is now under your control, that the habit is not influencing you anymore, and you're starting to get freedom from it. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Onwards and upwards.